everybody, my name is Tony, and today we're going to learn about how are living things like their parents. And we're going to learn about young and parents. First, I'm going to show you this. What is this? Actually, it's a robo-tiger. See, it has 4 legs, just like a normal animal would be. A head. So we're gonna use this many of our examples of animals with 4 legs, examples of animals with 2 legs. So now today we're gonna learn about how are living things like their parents. So first we're gonna talk about living things. The first living things that we're gonna talk about are plants. The second ones are animals. So let's begin. Some plants can be very different from each other. You see, this plant, imagine this is a plant. This plant is black. But another plant is red. You see, some plants are different from each other. The black one and also the red one. You see, both plants are different from one another. What is another thing that they're different? Well, they're different by how tall they are. You see, the black plant is taller than the red plant, and the red plant is shorter than the black plant, or maybe, as you know, marker. So today so now you see some plants can be different, like this flower. Another very good artist, but this is a flower, and this is a tree. There, this is a tree, and this is a flower. Flower, tree. This is a flower, this is a tree, okay? Now, look at this flower. The flower is different from the tree. The tree is tall. The tree has many leaves. And the tree has bark and a trunk. So a tree is tall, it has many leaves, has bark, and it has a trunk. But a flower has a stem, it is short, and it doesn't have many leaves. It has 1, 2, or 3 leaves. And also, it doesn't have a trunk. So if it doesn't have bark, it doesn't have a trunk. So these things will go away when we talk about actually those things will go away into the red hole, because if the flower doesn't have a trunk, it has a stem. Also, if it doesn't have a trunk, that means it doesn't have bark. Alright, so that is actually how flowers and trees are different. What else are different? Well, plants. And animals can be different. For example, look, this is a tiger, okay? This is an Nordic tiger. Now, I am a human. You see, this toy tiger is smaller than me. I am bigger than the toy tiger. So that is one way we can compare toys with humans. Actually, all toys are smaller than humans, but not all. Why? Because sometimes you can have some type of robot, remote controller robot that's pretty big. And it can be big as your forehead. Just like that. The forehead is right here. Right at the tippy top of your head. Forehead. A pimple. So, now, that is one way we can combine animals. We can compare animals with toys. And those are also one way we can combine flowers and trees, or maybe plants with plants. Of course, all plants are plants, but some we call a tree, not a plant. A plant is a plant is like this. It has petals. These petals represent the flower. You see, this is a sprouting flower. Yeah, I don't think I can hold much. There. But this is a flower and this is the stem. You see, the flower goes out of the stem. That's why some plants aren't called. That's why some plants aren't actually are not called trees. Trees are the big things that have trunks and also bark. Imagine this robot, okay? This robot was gigantic. Would it be tall as a tree? Of course it will. And also, it will not have bark like a tree, but we represent it as a giant tree. And you see, the tree has bark, it has leaves. These represent the leaves. And also, the tree has something special. What is it? The trunk. The bark protects the trunk from cutting the tree down more, because some people think the trees are very hard. You can't even kick it down, because a long time ago, they only used stone axes. So when they tie a piece of wood with some stone, they can just only they can only just make a few scratches in the tree. This axe isn't working. So actually, a long time ago, people couldn't figure out that if trees were hard or not. But now that we don't use Stone Age axes and we use metal axes, sometimes a chain throwing axe, we can cut down trees easily. You can just wave the axe all around and throw the axe towards the tree. It will slice down the tree, just like a normal axe would be. It's a chain throwing axe. You connect the sharp part with a chain, and then you have a chain throwing axe. So that is a chain throwing axe. Woohoo! So now, what about if we talked about animals? What are animals? Animals are us. For example, did you remember the the tiger that I just talked about? Well, if that tiger was real, it was an animal. You see? It kind of looks like a real tiger. You see? Its mouth, its two eyes, and maybe this is some kind of tattoo. And you see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 legs. Bye-bye, tiger. So, now, as you know, a tiger is a type of animal. But what are other animals? Well, there are many other animals that we can imagine as well. How many? Us. There are at least 1,000 billion hundred people in this planet, so I think you cannot identify all of them, right? Well, if you can't identify all of them, if you can count all of them, you can define each of them in your whole life. Do not go too far away from your home country. Like if you're in Vietnam with me, don't go to Antarctica, Arctic, or don't go to Russia, China, and many others. Because Russia and China, China is pretty easy to go. We're in the south. If you're in Ho Chi Minh, you're in the south. And you can easily go north for 10,000, maybe 10 or 20 days, and then you reach China. But if you want to go to Russia, you have to thrice that price. Thrice means 3 times those days. So you have to wait 60 days until you get from Vietnam to Russia. Because if we go from Vietnam to China, we'll only have 20 days. But from China to Russia, we have 40 days. So 40 plus 20 equals 60. From the south towards the north to Russia is 60 days to reach. Well, it's still not really 1 year. Well, if you have 60 days, you'll only reach the 30th of, as you know, July. So, as you know, that is about just like how far you go, and about animals, how far animals can go. We, human beings, are animals. We are part of the animal group. This is a lion. I'm sure you've seen this movie before, and it's a lion. A lion is a part of the animal group. We're going to have horse, female lion, we're going to have baby lion, us, we're going to have tigers, snakes, the snake, all types of animals, all types of living things are part of the animal group. There are only different types of animals like mammals, marsupials, rodents, reptiles, and even amphibians. We are mammals. Amphibians can be frogs. Rodents can be mice. Reptiles can be crocodiles. Fish can be sharks, or maybe birds can be eagles, the bald eagle, the bluebird, the blue jay, and many other animals. They're all part of the animal group. So tell you again, the animal group is the group of animals in the whole world. Even in China, in Russia, all around the world. Even some of the deepest sea creatures like the Mosasaurus, the great white shark, the megalodon, and many others. Even the dinosaurs from the past. They are all part of the animal groups. So actually all the dinosaurs from the past are like reptiles, except for some. like the Loch Ness Monster. It's a mammal, even though it has scales. It's still a mammal because sometimes some kinds of those dinosaurs really hatch eggs, but some give birth to live young. But sharks are the most important things. They give birth to live young, even though they're fish. That is one of the most exciting things you always heard. Why? Because you should have known all fish lay eggs, but actually, amazingly, the shark doesn't need to lay eggs. When it has young, the babies are stored inside their body already. The eggs hatched inside their body, and then the babies just pooped out. Poop, poop, poop. So those are babies, the babies of sharks. So that is one fact about sharks, the amazing sea creatures that really really give birth to live young, no lay eggs. Because if sharks lay eggs, that wouldn't be interesting after all, right? So now, as you know, sharks are fish that do not lay eggs. So let's continue with our lesson. What are some different types of animals? For example, these are cats. This is a cat. Look, this cat is striped. But look at this cat. This cat is spotted. So striped and spotted. You see, this cat is pretty striped. It's striped. You see? It's striped. This cat is spotted. Or maybe this cat is smaller than this cat. This cat is bigger than this cat. So that is also something that is different from these two cats. What are some alike animals? Well, look, these are some animals that are alike. You see, this one, it has ears, it has small horns, and it has legs just like its mother. A mother cow and a baby cow called a calf. And the mother cow is just called a cow. Now, what about foxes and wolves? Foxes and wolves are also different. Why? Because foxes and wolves are actually not related. And this flower and this flower are not related. You see, their stems are both green, their leaves are both green, but this flower has this place, it's a sunflower maybe, and this place is like the dot in the middle. It's yellow. It's dark yellow. But this one is light yellow. The petals is also light yellow, but these petals are red. That's one way these different kinds of flowers are different. Also, these flowers are for your mom. These flowers are only for painting. So that is also one type of difference. Now, what about alike? Here you see these two dogs are alike. This one is just smaller, this one is just bigger. You see, they both have these rings around their necks, these curvy lines. They're both bright yellow, and they both have similar eyes, similar mouths, similar noses, just small nose, big nose. So that is also one type of living thing that's alike. You see their feet, the front feet are stretched down, and their two other feet are like this. Also, this one's alright. And these cats are different. These ones are the same. These are different. And this is an animal group. So an animal group is a group of animals. What are groups of animals? What are some group of animals? Well, some groups of animals are actually reptiles. Write that down. A reptile. Write that down on your paper. Reptile. The next group, well, what is the next group? Well, The next group is amphibians. The third group is a mammal. The fourth group are birds. The fifth group are rodents. The sixth group are fish. The seventh group, the final group, are birds. So those are some animal groups. The lion is part of the mammal group. So these are some animal groups that you just talked about. Reptiles, mammals, amphibians, rodents, birds, and fish. 7 types of kinds of groups of animals. So those are actually some types of animal groups. Animal groups. So those are some animal groups that we learned today. So what are other types of animal groups? You can study them, you can write them down in the comments below. Actually, don't write crazy animals, they don't exist. You can write us. You can write mammals, you can write amphibians, or you can write rodents. What are rodents? Rodents are herbivores. Okay? Rodents are herbivores. They eat mainly cheese. They eat mainly cheese, some meat, and they also eat lots of plants. They eat grass, they eat everything that is free, except for cars. They know that cars are not their food because it will be stubborn if they think about that. And we might be getting rid of the arid forest. So those are also some animal groups. So now you see. Let's look at our mind map. You see, we have different flowers. These flowers are for Valentine's. But these flowers are only for planting. And now look at the cow and its calf. You see, the cow is busy giving the calf some milk. And you see, the calf is much like the cow. You see, the calf is white, the cow is white. They both have ears. The only thing that's different is that the calf doesn't have any horns. But this cow, a male cow, has horns. But the female mainly doesn't have horns. This is actually a bull, and a bull is a male cow. And also a cow is a female cow. You see, bulls can be dangerous, but they still take care of baby cows, just like a female cow, like that. A male cow is a bull, a female cow is a cow, and a baby cow is a calf. So those are like some types of animal, some type of plants. Now, what about these animal groups? These animal groups can be rodents. And let's start with us. We, human beings, are mammals. We frogs are amphibians. We crocodiles are reptiles. We mice are rodents. We are fish. We are birds. We are mammals. Mammals are some of the most largest type of mammals are one of the largest type of animals, because remember the blue whale and the shark? Those are some of the most largest sea creatures, largest mammals. Elephants can be the largest mammal. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Or an ape. An ape can be a large animal. A gorilla can be a large animal. Or maybe one of the largest animals in the past, okay? one of the largest animal in the past that is a mammal is the Loch Ness Monster. But some of the most largest reptiles are crocodiles, alligators, and even in the past we have some dinosaurs that are big as that. Bigger than the T-Rex, the Brontosaurus, and many others. All dinosaurs in the past, except for the Loch Ness Monster, lay eggs. Even the Velociraptor can be very big since you arrived at the age of the dinosaurs. Well, dinosaurs lived long, long ago, so people don't really think of them. But you might be wishing to find a dinosaur bone. A dinosaur bone is a bone of a dinosaur. Some people walk on a rough hill. They thought it was nothing. But one day, they started digging. And they saw something solid. They kept digging and digging and they saw a face. They kept digging and digging and digging until they saw the rest of the body, the legs and the feet. Some people even found huge dinosaurs. Some people found titans, big people. Because Egyptians were very big since we didn't arrive. Egyptians were as tall as the ceiling, but their mounds can be taller because Egyptians lived in giant houses. They made their houses from large hills of sand. How? They just used the hill and then shaped them into a house. Actually, before we were born, Egyptians actually have some useful things that may be able to dig. So they started digging for their shelter underground. So, as you know, long, long ago, Egyptians lived underground, not up like us. So, if you're in the second floor, you seem better. You seem more refreshing than the Egyptians. Because underground, the Egyptians can't take much air. So you had to make an air hole, revealing their secret. So that's why you say that Egyptians cannot be as lucky as us. But in our house, we have windows, breathe some fresh air. We have large doors that will open into the garden. Get some fresh air. Or you can just go out the balcony, smell some fresh air. You can have many different ways to smell some fresh air. But Egyptians had to make a breathing tube, revealing their secret. And even some people tried to bury them underground forever. So they had to just make a giant tunnel and then show up their faces. The Egyptians' house, and made all the signs, all of the dogs, all of the spikes for nobody to enter. But they're not very lucky because last year, in the past, some people already had helicopters. So they flew across and maybe dropped down into the Egyptian's house without even being damaged by the signs, the dogs, or maybe the spikes. Because dogs can get past signs. Signs are too big for dogs. Maybe they can kick down signs and sand, but not. So those are also some types of animal groups. What about Giraffe 1? Giraffe 1 has lighter spots. Giraffe 2 has darker and bigger spots. So you see, Giraffe 1 is different from Giraffe 2. What about this? This is young, this is a parent. These animals are alike, these animals are different, these plants are different. This is an animal group, this is like Simba in the Lion King movie. I hope you've seen that movie before or you won't recognize this type of lion. You see, all lions You see, all lions and zoos have yellow manes, but Simba actually has a red mane when he grows up. He's a male. So that is those are actually some animal groups. And in that movie, we also have apes, monkeys, or maybe orangutans. We even have gorillas, we have hippos, and we even have little monkeys. We have giraffes, hippos, elephants, and many other creatures that are part of the animals. But not all lions in that movie are good. Scott. So those are actually some types of how are living things like their parents. So today we've learned about different flowers, animal groups, how giraffes are different cats, maybe like dogs that are alike and cows that are alike. And we talked a lot about them. So I hope you're tired in this lesson, very hungry, very hot, because maybe your fan is off, or maybe your fan is broken, since you can't turn on the fan. So our lesson will stop here. So thanks for watching this video, and also see you next time in the next lesson. What is the next lesson? The next lesson will be Unit 4. Unit 4. What is Unit 4? Unit 4 is actually talking about everything that you don't know, but I do. So, bye!